all the talk of the sacred dimension, one thing that I think that we have kind of lost touch with is the fusion dimension. The fusion dimension, what we're starting to get out of this is that the fusion dimension definitely has like a separation of jobs. We know that Sora's job was to take out the Xyz remnants, and we know that Dennis gives the green light. He kind of plays like some kind of role in society and like hangs out with them, and then he gives the green light when he finds one of the bracelet girls, which has now been a coin term. We know what to call them. We don't call them Yuzus anymore, guys. They are the bracelet girls. And then we have Yuri, whose job is very simple. He comes in once the green light is in, and he nabs the bracelet girl, and he returns them to Akabaleo to feed Akabaleo's ambition, which is still kind of shrouded in mystery. One character and that's been a fan request that we promised that we'd get to, and we are today, is Yuri. Yuri is from academia. He is the fusion counterpart of Yuya, and his job is, like I said, very simple. He comes in and he captures the bracelet girl. One thing that should be noted about his personality is that he is really sadistic. He's not really hateful per se. He just seems to really enjoy causing pain to others. This is what he does. Beyond his personality trait, the one thing that makes us keep wanting more and to keep desiring to know more about Yuri is his power. In the very few episodes that he's appeared in, a lot of them have been flashbacks, and only in a certain couple instances have they been him really being present in the situation. He's absolutely powerful and disturbing. When he first appears in the standard dimension, he is greeted by Dennis, and Dennis says, "Wow, you look a lot like Yuya." And his reaction is, if you say something like that again, I'm going to turn you into a card. He's very powerful and violent. He's very bold with his statement.
Dennis backed off almost immediately, and we know how strong Dennis is.
Right. I mean, we saw Dennis fight Shun in this previous episode, and that duel was nothing to laugh about. And here he comes, he appears in the dimension, and Dennis is just like completely taken back, and he's like, well, I'm not going to cross that line. Olga and the other girl, he duels them and immediately wipes them out. We don't even get the slightest depiction of what actually happened in the duel. Then he goes on to go get, Yuzu, who's his real job. And the Obelisk Force has surrounded Yuzu, and Yuzu's just ready to take on all 10 of them. Probably wasn't exactly 10, but it was several of them. As soon as Yuri comes in with his cold smile, he tells the whole Obelisk Force to step off because this is my job. And if you don't, your other option is to be turned into a card. And let's drop the censorship. If you don't back off, I'm going to kill you. They immediately back off. And we've seen the kind of thing that they're capable of when they beat up the knights. So they're really sadistic too. So they have to acknowledge this man's power. He goes up to Yuzu, and his approach is so dominant. He says, just come with me and let's just make this short. If we begin this duel, it's over. So don't waste my time. Don't waste your time. We don't even get a depiction of their duel. This means that Yuzu could have fled turn 2. That means that she probably didn't even participate in the duel. This guy was so amazing that he absolutely made Yuzu just run away, and she just hit. Yuzu is not a character to laugh about. A lot of the female characters in previous Yu-Gi-Oh! Series have been kind of lackluster. She is an excellent duelist. So to see her run away the way she did was absolutely terrifying. Well, we've seen what he did to Rin and Ruri, but the question has to be asked, did Ruri go on her own choice? It may seem like, of course she didn't, because, that's what Yuri does. He abducts people.
And Yuto said that he didn't want to see her get hurt again, so we're trying to kind of assume that that's the duel, but this war happened before Yuri even came.
Right.
So we don't know when Ruri got hurt.
Right, we really don't know when Ruri got hurt. When he goes up to Ruri, he doesn't say, come with me now or I'll duel you and defeat you and then force you to come with me. He says, duel me, and if I win, you have to listen to what I have to say. Well, if you're going to abduct someone, you don't say...
He just carried Rin away.
Right. Bodied Rin and carried her away with the violet flash card that he played. Completely chased Yuzu. Yuzu got lucky. But why even give the option to Ruri? What did he see in Ruri? It asks so many questions of us. Did Ruri go on her own whim? Because if he didn't force her to go, did they talk and then he forced her to go? Or what really happened there?
We knew about Yuri before Serena and Rin were even, but Serena and Rin for some reason appeared first. Even in flashbacks, we didn't see Yuri until now.
Right. This is our first time seeing Yuri, yet she was the first name we ever heard that wasn't Yuzu. It's kind of odd to have her lingering in the back and then for her to also be given the option. Right. So speaking of bracelet girls, right? Every bracelet girl obviously has a dragon guy. Now, dragon guy isn't a term that's been coined in the series, but we're coining it, right?
No,
so
one of the Dragon 4.
Yeah, all right, there we go. Dragon 4. Unless there's a fifth, then it's like Illuminati confirmed, right? And each dragon guy has fond memories of their bracelet girl. Yuya and Yuzu. You have Rin and Yugo dueling in the back alley having fun. But what about the case of Serena and Yuri? No. Serena doesn't look at Yuya and say, "Oh man, you remind me of, you're like tomato hair Yuri." You know, every time when Yuzu sees someone who looks like Yuya, she relates him to Yuya, and the same goes for the the Dragon 4 and how they look back, like how Yugo looked at Serena and said, "You look like Rin." But we don't have this example when it comes to Serena and Yuri. Well, why is it? One possibility is that maybe we have a system of memory wipe going on, like with the case of the LDS top students, how their memory was wiped by Reggie. Maybe they did have a close connection and he's been brainwashed. It wouldn't be too far-fetched because his personality traits are very odd, and on top of that, he seems to have been turned into the perfect soldier. The other possibility, my thought was that it deals with kind of the different classes, like the class system there. We know that their class system kind of is based off the Egyptian god cards.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
From Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Yeah. Kaiba having Slifer Sky Dragon cut at the very bottom because it belonged to Yugi, and then you have Albus at the top, and then Merrick at the middle because at least Merrick is in Yugi. Serena was considered very important. If you think about Reggie's flashback, how Serena had been kind of shadowed, you know what I mean, and left in dark on situations, didn't want her to leave the fusion dimension, didn't want her to be part of the war because obviously she is a bracelet girl, so she's really an asset versus just another person. So she probably didn't go through the same social structure ladder that the rest of the people did, which is probably rigorous dueling and stuff like that.
She's still a Slifer, and he's a purple guy.
Right, you know what I mean? So it makes sense that they probably never made contact because he's a full-out soldier fighting for whatever the order is, and then she is a very prized possession asset.
Right. And
they probably don't see what they fight for, you know? And then you had your theory.
Yeah. All right, so basically, from what we've seen, the dragons are the dragons are good-natured. All right, so if you look at the color scheme in relation to the bracelet girls in relation to the dragons, you'll notice that so far from the dragons and girls that we know, their color schemes, especially of their hair, tend to match the color scheme of the dragon. So I was thinking maybe, the bracelet girls are the human physical embodiment of these dragons, something along that nature.
Okay,
which would explain why Akabeleo is trying to get them. But in general, they're good natured, and of course, Serena is good natured as well. We've seen this when Shun explained what's really going on in the fusion dimension.
With the hunting
Serena immediately joined the Lancers and was done with the fusion dimension. So what I'm thinking is, we have Yuri, who he's not necessarily hateful, but he's not a good person either. He destroys and kills people just because it's fun. That's what Yuri does. And, his dragon being good natured, Serena, who doesn't believe that, doesn't necessarily like Yuri, or would not necessarily like Yuri because she doesn't seem to know him. And, she would not be anywhere near him because of that. And, there's probably this thing going on with his dragon. His dragon does not like what he's doing. Serena would not like what he's doing, and she's not going to be anywhere near him. They will not know each other until Serena can accept Yuri for what he is.
Right. So those are some possibilities as to more about who Yuri is and what he's about and stuff like that. And we take fan requests. So if you have any requests, this is us. We this is Hardheadedd Gaming, and we will absolutely answer any fan requests that you guys have for videos. So make sure to add those in the comment section, because we do listen to you guys and we appreciate your requests. Right? So anything you want, I mean, you just send it to us.